Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today we got a gem of a show. Let me just throw on some little tunes for you. So, I want to get right into a quote. This is my quote, and I want you to consider this and think about it in all seriousness. In all seriousness, because it's a big deal. It's a really big deal. Don't let others, there's light. Don't let others' opinions on how you should act as a man in a relationship be imposed on your character if you like who you already are. Okay, there's a big issue going on right now. I'm seeing it a lot with clients, and it's starting to piss me off a little bit, to be quite honest, because right now you have so much on YouTube, you have so much on the internet. People are getting paralyzed by the paradox of choice on what to do, how to react in a breakup or relationship in their life. Okay? There's all this stuff online that you go to YouTube and you think to yourself, all right, this is what I should do. This is what I should do. This is what I should do. The reality is, if you like who you are, some people like who they are. They like that they're a nice guy. They like that they do things in a certain way, that they treat people a certain way. And I'm going to get into it in the story coming up, but it's really an issue right now of people are going and getting this information and going, "Oh, I'm doing something wrong. I'm doing something wrong here. Can you tell me what to do right?" Don't let others' opinions on how you should act as a man in a relationship be imposed on your character if you like who you already are. Please understand that. Please get that. Please believe that. Because there's just a ton of people out there right now, a ton of people that they're apologizing for doing good things or being a good person in a relationship. And it's crazy. It just blows my mind how much others' opinions and these other opinions, right? Some of these people you don't even like, right? I have a client, uh, classic nice guy, a little too nice. It's stung him in relationships. He's adapting, but he's constantly thinking, "Am I being too nice? Am I being too nice? Am I being too nice?" Sometimes it's just a light adjustment. Being a nice person is something that he actually values and likes about himself. So you got to really ask yourself, whose opinion am I taking here? None of this stuff is law. None of it's rules. Okay. It's just like if you followed Neil Strauss, right? Who wrote The Game. Someone was just asking about this recently. What do you think about the game? What do you think about the game? What you don't realize is, yeah, he pulled a lot of women. He changed his life. He became quote unquote a player, all this other stuff. His rules to the game applied to LA and nightclubs. If he went and tried to run that game in Texas, in a country town, it probably wouldn't go the same. Him peacocking and wearing a big hat and doing those kinds of things. That's what people get lost. It's like, oh, would this work everywhere? Hell no. A lot of this stuff is narrow focus. It's just like when you get advice from someone online, myself included, right? Make sure it resonates with you. How about this one? Just for the record. Lead with good intentions and honesty. Keep your word. Yes, women are attracted to famous rich men. Yes, men are attracted to hot women with big bosoms. But that doesn't mean there's some other creatures on the planet still eating and finding mates, right? People get caught up in this all the time. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. A moment here. That's better. Get my lights right. All right, we got 4 on deck, 2 likes. Let's get into it. We got a story that was turned in yesterday. And if you have a story you want to share, go to writemac.com, WRITEMAC.com. Send your story in, and I could give you my take in a YouTube or live stream video just like this. And really, this is the best way to get advice. Not because it's just me giving the advice, but the idea that you're actually getting tailored advice to your story, your situation, your words, your feelings. So much different than you going and trying to fit your story, your problem, your issue into a generalized video online or website, right? And I understand why people do it. It's free. We make generalized videos, myself included, that hopefully cover a lot of things for a lot of different people, but we don't realize your interpretation is everything. Let me say that again. Your interpretation of the events is everything. Remember that. Don't forget it. What happens is, if you don't put your story first, your issue first, you start collecting other issues, other problems along the way that you didn't even know were there because you're watching so much goddamn content and videos online that you're starting to collect garbage. You're starting to impose opinions on you that you don't want. Does that make sense? Let me say that quote of the day one more time. Don't let others' opinions on how you should act as a man in a relationship be imposed on your character if you like who you are already. It's a big deal. Okay? It's a big deal. It's happening a lot right now. A lot. And the thing is what happens is, what do I mean by others' opinions being imposed on you? What they're doing is, this is how I do it in my environment, in my city, and this is how all other men should do it or are doing it wrong because I have 600,000 subscribers, so I know what's best for you. What's your story, people? What's your story? What's your individual problem? Right? Some people, all the problems are the same. No, the interpretations are different. How are you going to get through this? Write your story out. Send it in. I'll give you my take. Write your story out. Have someone look at it. Okay? This is tailored advice. This isn't you trying to find a shoe that doesn't fit you. Right? All right. Story. Let's just get we're at the 8-minute mark here. First, I want to say I love your channel. I hope it continues to grow. So I'm 23. I've been talking to this girl, also 20-something, for over a year now. It's a long distance thing. So I currently live in New York, and she lives in Florida. From the very beginning, she said she does not want a relationship since she got out of a 6-year-long relationship. Okay, so right there, this is one of those things. She gave you distinct, honest information. 6 years is a long time. It's hard to get out of a 6-year relationship without wanting a break from relationships. Okay, so if you weren't in a 6-year relationship, and let's keep in mind, if you're only 23, there's a good chance you weren't. There's also a good chance that 6-year relationship was her first love. First love relationships are a little different ball game. They're harder to get over. The wound's a little deeper. And it really depends on what happened. And you really don't know that yet. But you do know this. She doesn't want to be in a new relationship. And most likely it's because she was really hurt by the last breakup. And give her credit for being upfront about that. I completely understood it and was okay with it. So I kept it going. And overall, things have been great between us. I usually fly down to see her every other month. We never really argue. We both clearly love each other. And it almost feels like a relationship. But I'm kind of lost how to continue this situation. I've mentioned about taking things further multiple times before, and she still says, I'm not ready for a relationship. and I like where we are at and where my life is at right now. Okay, so that's where she's at. Now, you haven't mentioned how long you've been seeing each other. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. So she made a declaration statement in the beginning of the relationship saying, look, been in a 6-year relationship. I don't want to get in a relationship right away. Okay. But obviously she's attracted to you. You're seeing each other. So right off the bat, most likely, if she's a strong-willed individual, which it sounds like she is, and she's making a declaration statement, you're not going to talk her out of that. Over time, as the relationship gets better and better, she's going to talk herself into it, right? So probably every time you bring it up, she probably feels like, I already told you. Now, here's the other part of this. Some people take longer to fall in love. Some people, not just her, take longer to want to commit. And most times those people take longer to commit because they had a bad breakup. They're filtering better. It's not always a bad thing. You're special. She's probably not seeing someone else right now. And that's why she wants to wait. And overall, things have been great between us. I usually fly down to see her every other month. So that's a big issue right there. Okay. The fact that you see each other every other month, long distance relationships are in. Okay. They're common. It's the 21st century. It's part of dating. It's not ideal. So the fact that you meet every other month and you're thinking, wow, we got this great relationship. It's not a relationship that's going to grow as fast as you want it to grow. If it started out long distance, you got to fly to see each other every other month. If you lived in the same vicinity, neighborhood, environment, if you lived, driving distance from each other and could see each other more often, maybe the relationship would pick up quicker. But starting to get serious when you have this far a distance, it's a no-no. Because if there's not a finish line for you to move there or her to move where you live, or that you want that, okay, keep that in mind. If the individual is happy where they live and you're happy where you live, someone's got to sacrifice, and then there's resentment built in when they move to stay with you. So it's just not ideal in that way. And that's partially why when you see each other long distance, you're like, damn, this is great. This is outstanding, because you only see each other every other month. So it should be rose petals and wine glasses. Okay. It should be outstanding. Great. Wonderful. Exceptional. We never really argue. We both clearly love each other, and it almost feels like a relationship. So if we were doing a live coaching session, I would say, why don't you ever argue? I would also say, how do you know you clearly love each other? I'm not saying you're wrong, but how do you define that? And what does it mean that it almost feels like a relationship? Right? Because to me, what's going on right now is you're seeing each other just like you'd be dating each other. It's just a little bit more dramatic because you're taking a plane ride over, which costs money and time, and you're getting your intimacy in. But really, you're seeing each other. Okay. But I'm kind of lost how to continue this situation. I've mentioned about taking things further multiple times before she still says, I'm not ready for a relationship, and I like where we are at and where my life is right now. Okay, that's a similar statement than she said before. Again, she made a declaration statement at the beginning. This is a big thing. Declaration statements where someone declares something without you asking. They're dug in on that. I don't want a serious relationship. I don't want a serious relationship, right? Okay. You're not going to talk her out of that. You're not going to talk her out of that. This is not a bad thing that she wants to take her time out of a 6-year relationship at 23 years old. That's actually very mindful of her, responsible, and honest. What I would say, if you lived where you guys could date regularly, so let's say that you were both living in the same state, in the same city, and you could see each other 4 or 5 times a week, then you'd really see where you're at as a long-term relationship. Because a long-term relationship, to me, starting out as a long-distance relationship, is a tricky, windy, pothole-ridden road, if you would. I would not recommend it. You're starting at a disadvantage. But here's the exception to that rule. Are they interested in living where you're living? Are you interested in living where they're living? Has that been brought up? Because long distance relationships where you see each other sparingly, the reason why they're so great is scarcity is attractive, right? You're seeing each other once every month or once every 2 months. The intimacy is outstanding. You're not sick of each other. You're looking forward to it. I would add, probably when you come into town or she comes into town, you're looking your best. You're feeling your best. You're ready for them, right? So this is a little bit different buildup than an actual regular relationship of boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, partner, what have you. Okay. You're starting at a disadvantage by being with the long distance. You're kind of disregarding that because of your feelings, but it's real. And every time I do bring it up, it sparks an argument and leads to her saying things like, this is why I don't want a relationship. I don't want to argue and deal with stuff like this right now. Bottom line is she doesn't want to go there. It's too serious. It's too soon. It's not ideal for her. In my opinion, keep dating, keep seeing each other, leave the door open for yourself, right? This is not an ideal situation for you. Now, drop the topic. It's already a sour point for her. Keep seeing each other if you like. Leave the door open for you to see other people in your hometown and home state. Right? The more you press her on this, the more she's going to push you away. You keep resisting what she's telling you. Continue to see each other and have a good time, and maybe she'll come to her senses, desires, and what have you. But you're not going to talk her into it. So I no longer bring it up and I let things be. My question to you is, what's your opinion on this situation? Okay, like I said earlier, the elephant in the room is it's long distance. You're seeing each other every other month. In order to grow at a faster pace, you'd have to live in the same area and see each other a little bit more regularly. Okay, so that's one of those things that's being overlooked here. Can you build this way? Absolutely. But you need to take off the expectations. Okay. If long distance is going to work, there needs to be supreme confidence and trust, right? You need to feel like, I trust this person. Even though they're not official, I trust their feelings for me. And I would say if you took 2 steps back and became a little bit more casual about it, it would actually be more attractive to her. Should I continue being with this girl even though everything has been great between us? Well, I'd ask you why not? And the idea that she's not official, long distance, if that's not working for you and your morals, values, your expectations, then move on, right? But if you feel like this is a really special girl, you really like where things are going, continue to see her. Don't press the topic, and really ask yourself, at what point are we going to be living in the same town is the bigger question to ask, or living in a closer vicinity. But right now at 23 years old, her out of a 6-year relationship, you're not going to change that tide. And I honestly would not close the door on you being able to date other women. See, like a lot of guys would be like, oh my God, this would be ideal. I got this piece in another state, another town. I can see other women. I mean, have you guys discussed that you're allowed to see other people? That'd be a big question. Because sometimes I wonder if we'll ever take things further. Well, stop wondering if you'll ever take things further and just live in the moment. Have fun. Date. See each other. If that's not enough for you, you have the power to pull the plug at any time at 23 years old. You live in an area, in a state that has a high population where you can meet someone else possibly. But if this isn't going where you want it to go, you're not going to talk her into this like the traveling salesman, dude. No. She's already declared, I don't want a relationship seriously. Okay? If she's going to change her mind, she's going to do it on her own. And it's probably going to be with you pulling back rather than you going 0 to 100. It's an odd and confusing situation. As soft as it sounds, I'm not the type to hook up with other girls when I'm talking to someone I genuinely like. All right, so it's not odd and it's not soft. This is where my quote of the day comes in. Don't let others' opinions on how you should act as a man in a relationship be imposed on your character if you like who you are already. Okay, this is the thing that's going on now. People are watching Fresh and Fit, these other shows, and going, "Oh my God, I got to be this way. I got to be this. I got to be like this. I gotta have 10 women going. I got to treat them like shit. I got to do this and that." If you want to be like those dudes, if you want to get those kinds of girls, right? And they'll say, "Oh, this is how 90% of people do." No. Lean into the fact that you want a monogamous relationship and the fact that you don't want to date other women because you think this one's special. I'm okay with that. That's not soft, right? That's okay. Here's the other part to that though. She doesn't want to be serious. You do. Right? That could change. And the fact that I'm not the type of to hook up with other girls when I'm talking to someone I genuinely like, that's actually very attractive to a lot of good women. Okay? You don't need to regard that as soft as it sounds. It's not soft, dude. It's real. It's who you are. A lot of women would melt over that. All right? Now, if you kiss ass and go too far and are needy and weak, attention seeking, that's women repellent. The fact that you are genuinely monogamous in relationships with women you really are into could be attractive to a lot of good women. So don't feel bad about that. Right? And I've known her for a very long time, and she's never been a hookup type girl either. She's always dated someone in her life, and now she wants to be independent for once, which I understand. I don't know if you fully understand. So what you're stating in that statement is she wants to be fully independent. This isn't personal. This is just where she's at 23 years old. And I'll tell you this, people in their 20s to mid 20s, if you heard me talk before, a lot of people in the 21st century in 2022, right, in their 20s, they're not ready to settle down. It's not grandma and grandpa's world where you had religion as something that you abided by and you met people in the neighborhood. It's a different state right now. Different state of affairs for the world and relationships. So bottom line is most people in their 20s after a tough relationship or a tough breakup, they do want to be single for a little while and sow their oats. They don't want to get into another relationship because they got stung, they got hurt, and they want to just have fun. That's not personal. That being said, you can find a woman that values the fact that you want to be in a serious relationship. I meet them all the time. I do coaching sessions with them all the time. Why can't I meet a guy that's honest or loyal or wants to settle down? They're out there, right? What you're doing here is like, why isn't she meeting? Why doesn't she do this? Why doesn't she do that? She's usually the one that initiates contact with me and FaceTime calls me every day. But for the most part, I let her be and I focus on other priorities got going on. Excellent move, bud. That's attractive. But the situation is confusing me and sometimes frustrates me. Well, because you want one thing, she wants the other. She declared that in the beginning, so give her credit for that. She didn't lead you down a dark hole. This is where she's been from the get-go, right? The more you press about it, the more she pulls away. If that's not going to work for you because you want a serious monogamous relationship, well, then you got to let this one go to make space for another one that fits you better. Does that make sense? If you want to book a live coaching session, we get a little deeper on this and we could talk a little bit deeper about where you're at with a few of these limited beliefs I could probably help you with. Maybe ask a few more questions that are more detailed that can get you some tailored information. All right, we got one more story. I'm going to check in with the live stream real quick. Chucksta, what's going on? How you doing, buddy? Did you ever get my message on Discord, Mac? I haven't gone on Discord in a long time, Chuck, so don't take it personal. It's not you, it's me. Long time no see, statements of truth. Sometimes they say, I don't want a serious relationship, only to surprise you weeks, maybe months later, saying they are in a serious relationship with some other guy. Very possible. You know, I'm getting a lot of clients right now that want to know what the other person's thinking. Why did they not call me? Why did they just stop talking to me? I don't know. I can give you my hypothesis, my educated guess. But my advice would be stop trying to figure it out when it's someone that you're just dating or seeing. When you're in a relationship, you can ask direct questions. Like this particular story that just went down, you got some direct answers, direct intel. The reason you're confused is you don't like it. You look at it like this: wow, we got a great thing going on. We've been seeing each other. You contact me. You're into me. I'm into you. Why don't you want to get more serious? Why don't you think like I do? Well, did you have a 6-year relationship like she did, where it obviously ended somewhat bad because she wants to be independent? And a lot of times, you know what? You could have been in a relationship that was 6 years of bliss and 2 months of hell. But then when you're single, you just go, God, I just want to be single for a little while. She's told you why. The confusion is more you not wanting to believe what she's telling you. So you got choices here. Keep dating her, keep seeing her casually. Embrace that. Embrace the good parts. It leaves the door open for you to meet someone else and not feel guilty. Sometimes it's a statement to keep the guy in placeholder until some other guy comes along. Very possible, Rob IS. I'm seriously thinking about staying single for the rest of my life, says the great Chuckster. Well, it's a choice for you to make for you, my friend. Oh, my goodness. Absolutely outstanding, wonderful information. Chuckster says, check it out if you can. Mac, I'm cancer-free. Let me just give you one of those, my friend. I'm so happy for you, Chuckster. That's outstanding. That gave me chills, bud. Well, let's talk soon, man. Let's get on deck. All right, we got one more story on deck. 11 people watching currently, 4 likes. I appreciate you all. Next week, Rob IS, Chuckster, and those listening right now, I will be doing a daily show at the same time, same place. I got someone help me produce it, so we'll get that on deck starting next week, probably around the same time, 11 a.m. I haven't dialed it in yet, but I will keep you posted. Let's get into the next story. And if you have a story you want unpacked in a live stream just like this, write it into writemac.com. The link's down below in the comments. Let's get into it. This is interesting. The person wrote, "Hey, Rob." I don't know if they thought this was a different channel, but that's how they wrote it. My ex and I met 2.5 years ago skiing with friends at the start. I don't know what it's a typo there. Long distance romance where we would meet a couple days every 2 months for a year. So a couple days every 2 months for a year. Let's do the math on that. 2 times 6. So you met 12 days in a year. Wow. I'm okay with that. If that's how you want to roll and that's how you are in a relationship, no problem. It's not ideal. It's not long-term. I wouldn't recommend doing that for 2.5 more years. Because what happens is 12 days for one person isn't enough. And the other person goes, well, I haven't met someone else. I don't see anything getting better. Right? I went to visit her. I went to visit in her hometown and we shared our feelings and started a relationship. Excellent. It went on for 3 months where she spent most of the time living with me during the pandemic. Excellent. When she started her semester in Portugal, we decided to do an open relationship because she didn't know where she went. She went after that, after her studies. Okay, so bottom line is, when you say you decided to do an open relationship, great, outstanding. Who wanted the open relationship more? Good question. Okay, because the person that didn't want it so much is probably going to be the one left holding the bag. It was a hard time for me. I really missed her and was miserable also because I had a bad injury at that time. So I'm sorry to hear that. When it rains, it pours. We do need to separate the crap piles in our life and not put them in one big pile. So your injury separate, your you're miserable because, right? You went into this agreeing to an open relationship. I'm sure the bad injury didn't help, because I'll tell you what, when you're feeling sick or you have a bad injury, it's nice to have a significant other. It is. It was really hard to cope with the distance also because she seemed to fade away, having less contact by the time. Listen, if someone's doing a school program at a university, let alone another country, they're excited about it. They're going to be with like-minded people. They're going to be with people that they're probably attracted to. It's not the best recipe to get back together. By the way, if you agree to an open relationship, you're opening up the floodgates, and that's okay, because it sounds like there wasn't really another option here. If I'm going to agree to an open relationship, I'm looking at as an opportunity for me also to meet someone else that could be better. Let's just be honest. If you're doing an open relationship for the other person to accommodate them, look out, because you're about to get burned. Okay? Here's the other thing about the open relationship. You go from living together to an open relationship. Who's in the better environment to meet someone new? Because that's the person that will meet someone new faster and quicker and leave you holding the bag. Okay? Just consider that. So if you're, for example, let's just say you're working at an old people's home. Not against that. I've had clients that work at old people's homes, senior centers, whatnot, right? Great, outstanding, wonderful. Go for you. You're going to heaven. You're doing good work. You're probably not going to find a lot of people at that senior's home that would be candidates for you to date when you're in an open relationship. Maybe some fellow staff possibly, but not. Let's flip the script to someone that goes to a university program in their early 20s and they're around other people that are into the same topic. They're excited about class, right? There's going to be a lot more options for them, a lot more temptation. You with me? Also, because I had a bad injury, I recognized it is no good for me to hang on to her and ended our relationship, followed by going into no contact. Well, I mean, you had an open relationship. So if you're going to be on, once you switch tides and you guys agree to the open relationship, it's kind of, in a lot of cases, the beginning of the end. But I'll tell you what, if you handle that well, maybe 2-3 years down the line, when timing's better, that person will circle back to you. Possibly. This is not like inevitable. 6 weeks after, during summer, she contacted me saying that she will start an internship in ski town next to my town. Okay. She stated also it is not because of me that she is moving, even though she is excited seeing me. Well, that's kind of a backhanded comment. She's kind of protecting herself there. She's going to live closer to you. She's excited to see you, but she's not moving there for you. I was avoiding any relationship talk even until we met the first time after 8 months. I was wondering about her intentions with us, but I stated that it was not the right time since we haven't had personal contact for so long. And I learned from Coach Corey Wayne that she should bring up this topic. Bottom line is, you're not together. This is what happens with dudes a lot of times. If it was your girlfriend, it's my girlfriend. It's mine. And it's hard for the subconscious mind to let go of that. And so what happens all the time is she comes back into your life and you're thinking, all right, how do we get back together? Why don't we get back together? She's been apart from you for 8 months. She's already stated she's not back there to see you. Just hang out. All right. Don't bring up that topic. Go out to eat, see where things are presently. The funny thing is that my roommates come from the same town as she does, and we live in an exciting city, snowboarding life, and she wants to be a part of. I was preoccupied to bring her to my circle when she has no intentions of getting back together with me. See, that's where you're wrong. The idea that you've been apart 8 months, you had an open relationship, you shouldn't even be thinking about getting back together. All you should think about is like, hey, let's go have dinner, let's go have lunch and catch up. And then when you're in each other's energy, in each other's space, there's a frequency, there's a feeling like, hey, this can connect. Hey, she still has feelings for me. The idea that you're going to get back together, there's no tension there. There's no buildup there. And this is where people always fuck up, to be quite honest, especially guys. They just go, Oh yeah, like she doesn't want to get back with me. Is that how you got together? You went on a date and then you were like, hey, do you want to be with me or not? You got to start all over again. But the good news is it's not like starting over again. It's kind of like riding a bike. You haven't done it for 3 or 4 years. It's going to be a little rusty at first. Bottom line is you should just be focused on going out and seeing what happens. It's a discovery mission. I was preoccupied to bring her to my circle, and she has no intention of getting back together with me, and she gave me mixed signals, was hot and cold, and gave me a reason to doubt her trustworthiness. You haven't seen each other in 8 months and you don't trust her. Okay. Who you knew when you were in the relationship no longer owes you shit. Okay. If you, this happens all the time. Some guy, this is what, like I said, your subconscious mind is, that's my girl. That's my girlfriend. Newsflash. It's been ashes to ashes, dust to dust for a long time, dude. 8 months, right? She was in a university program, so I'm thinking she's in her lower to mid 20s. She's gotten a lot of attention. She's good looking. Okay. I'm not trying to scare you here, but the idea that she doesn't want to just get back with you right away after 8 months of no contact, that doesn't mean you didn't do anything wrong. It just means you're approaching the situation wrong. Okay. Let me reread that. I was preoccupied to bring her to my circle when she had no intentions of getting back together with me, and she gave me mixed signals, was hot and cold, and gave me a reason to doubt her trustworthiness. I recognize she is pushing to come to my place independently and mix up with my friends, ignoring what was going on between us. See, that's something I'd have to ask you more questions about in a live coaching session. She's pushing to come to your place independently and mix up with my friends, ignoring that was going on between us. Well, you just got to be straight up with yourself, dude. If you got strong feelings for her, don't bring her around your single buddies if she's attractive and she's single and she's stated that we're not getting back together, because you should be meeting with her independently, one-on-one. And if you're like, oh, my roommates, my buddies, my this, don't bring sand to the beach, my friend. I've done that in my life in my 20s, and you're thinking to yourself, wow, everyone's got a group of friends, and you got one buddy that'll hit on any woman that walks. You got one buddy that, you know, men are men, right? And if you think, I would never do that to them, well, people would do it to you. If you're attracted to the woman, it's your ex, you want to meet up with her again, go have lunch with her, go have dinner with her, do whatever, hang out in the park. I don't care what it is, but don't bring her to hang out with your buddies and then go, oh, she's not being considerate. I didn't want to have her around when things wouldn't work out in the future. So here's the thing. You're already writing the story. You're getting 5 steps ahead of yourself. She just said, I'm not here for you. The best reaction for that would have been like, okay. Okay. Hey, do you want to get lunch? Don't resist it. Hey, do you want to get lunch? You want to get dinner when you get into town? Don't make a big deal out of it. She doesn't know how she feels about you until she sees you, bro. I didn't want to have her around when things wouldn't work out in the future. One night out, she gave me the cold shoulder, walking away from me, saying that she didn't even need anyone watching for her. I was just spending time with her in my mind and got left stunned. Later that night, I confronted her that if she has no intentions of getting back together, she would leave. She should leave and not come back. I'm sure that went over real big. I mean, where's your leverage on that? We didn't talk for 1 week and I accepted her back, telling myself I didn't even give it a real shot and I could get rid of her again if it didn't work. We had good times and shared great memories. We had ups and downs, but things seemed to progress in the right direction. We were together in public, showing intimacy in front of friends, and she was telling me it feels like a relationship to her. So I don't know what happened here in the story, but you skipped ahead. Looks like you're back together or you're seeing each other. I wasn't feeling it the way I wanted because my needs weren't met. Every time she was here. We ended up drinking with my roommates, also because they would cock block me, mixing up in conversations and animating us to drink, to which she responded well. It seemed to me she enjoyed all the attention and even getting annoyed by it. And even me getting annoyed by it. Bottom line is let's just, I could do a whole show on this. Don't bring a girl you're attracted to hang out with your goon roommates who quote unquote cock block you, which, what's the definition of that for you, right? You don't bring a girl you're attracted to hang out with your buddies or your roommates and drink with. All right? It's blood in the water for sharks. I talked to her about it when it happened. Again, I had enough and didn't play. So what did you want her to do? To just act extremely loyal, quiet, dismissive in front of your friends? That sounds like a lot of fun. A fight broke out and I kicked her out saying she didn't care enough, and I don't want it to be like this. We wrote again a week after. She was really open. She said she missed me and wants to see me again. Well, there you go. Now you got some tension. Now you got some mystery involved, and now she's back in the drama, right? The soap opera begins. We are more distant to each other because there were clearly issues we didn't talk about that bothered us having a good time. She went on and kissed me out of the blue, but backed away again directly. I didn't want to push it. Give her a slight kiss, didn't make a deal out of it. Two friends saw us through the window and stopped for a talk. I didn't give it any attention, but after dinner, when everything was okay, she stated it was too soon for her after the fight that I stay for the night. She drove me home and I was confused. So it's the same as the other story. Confusion. Here, I'm gonna unconfuse it for you. If you're gonna get this woman back as your girlfriend, it's probably gonna take a little bit of time. You're gonna not need to be zeroed in on her, right? Just like you were hopefully when you first started dating. Because your expectations, you just want to get to 0 to 100 and just make this your girlfriend, supremely loyal all over again. And she's treading lightly right now. Okay? Your best move, date her, go out, have a good time, keep her away from your roommates with drinks late night, right? And leave the door open so you can date other people, because she's saying she doesn't want to be official. Since then, last Valentine's, we didn't meet anymore. I gave her space and waited for her to contact me when she did. I suggested a date. She agreed, but flaked every time and even ignored me the last time when she would have to show up. Well, bottom line is she's showing you who she is by her actions, right? So you did a great job. You asked her out on a date. You waited for her to contact you. Excellent. Sometimes it doesn't work, but it does give you clarity. Clarity is so golden. What's going to happen next? What are they thinking? What did they do? Well, she just told you. You're not a priority. It's not that important to me. Right? Cut anchor, dude. I felt the anger in me and I knew I had to end it when she leaves me hanging and doesn't respect me. I agree. Before I went into no contact, I confronted her about her lifestyle because she was into drugs and had a car accident before, saying, I worry about her and she needs to get her life together. I would have to contact her mother. Well, you went way too far here. I don't support drugs or the car accident. I know what it's like to worry about people that you care about. I'm with you. Contacting an adult's mother about that, she's going to have to figure that out on her own. She's an adult. But if you're doing this you got to really be honest with yourself. Is that in lieu of the fact that she's not cooperating or being a girlfriend again? Or is that you just being a caring individual? Would you do the same thing for a friend? Would you do the same thing for your cousin? What's your motives? What's your intention in telling her she needs to get her life together? And by the way, if you have your life together, with all due respect, why do you want to mix it up with someone that doesn't? She went angry and denied all my arguments. So I went like, okay, fine. Literally, that's how it's written. Okay, fine. I went like, okay, fine. You must know what to do and that our relationship is over because I will not accept her behavior towards me anymore. Well, great move. Great move. I blocked her on WhatsApp and Instagram and didn't even think about Facebook because we don't use it. A few days after she posts 3 times in a row after not posting for a year, which I understood as trying to get my attention. I was thinking about blocking her also on Facebook, but didn't do it because I already think she hates me. All right, so This is a big thing right now. You're Nostradamus. She hates you, huh? First of all, hate usually doesn't continue in situations like this. She probably hates the fact that you threw out that you're going to contact your mother. I don't think anyone likes anyone saying to them as an adult, whether friend, family, or colleague, I'm going to contact your mother about your behavior. It just doesn't fly very well. Okay? So that's a reason for her to be upset with you. And I'm wondering about clearing my intentions up in a message unemotionally to leave in peace. I'm happy to cut her out for now because I could really progress mentally when we were back and forth. Because I couldn't really progress mentally when we were back and forth all the time and spending too much time about worrying how to proceed with her. I feel she needs to feel my absence to adjust her attitude, and I need to improve myself and explore my options to see if I really still want her. As if she's still an option. That's so you're looking at it like, well, let me take my time and actually see if I still want her. Look, so you could just magically get her back whenever you want her. Wow. I think you're not being honest with yourself. If she's doing drugs and you feel those kinds of things about her, you guys are in two different zones, right? And I find it admirable that you care about her as an individual. You care about her well-being. That's a real thing. But if you feel like you're better than her in these ways, you're going to impose that on her. It's not going to be attractive. You guys are going in two different directions. And if you want to get back with her, she's probably going to want you on her path, not on your path. Does that make sense? Should I contact her again to clear the heat, or should I let it go? I mean, what's your intentions? It sounds like your intentions are, if I had to guess, you miss her. But you're building a case of why she's not good for you, so you have a reason to not pursue her and possibly get rejected because she's hot and cold. And hot and cold women are really hard to deal with. And if I had to guess, and this is just a guess, but an educated guess, you're highly attracted to her. The intimacy was really good. You don't trust her. Your connection is okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, what's the intimacy? On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your connection and chemistry? On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your trust? I bet your trust is like a 4. I bet your connection is like a 5 or 6. I bet the intimacy and attraction is probably a 10. Because this is what happens. Why else are you dealing with this crap? Should I block her on Facebook as well? If we don't even post or write there? If you're going into no contact, yes, I would include all social media outlets. How do you value our chances? See, this tells me that you want to get back with her. Here's the thing. If you were to get back together, it wouldn't be on your terms. It would be on her terms because you care more. The one who cares more has less control over the relationship, my friend. And the closing line, which is actually something that probably would have told me a lot at the beginning of this, she's 21 and I'm 31. Don't have a problem with that. It's fine. Happens a lot. But here's what I'm going to say. Your maturity, what you're looking for at 31 is much different than where she's at 21. And you're being blind to that. In lieu of, I'm going to guess, high levels of attraction. Now, I've been doing this for a little while. Rob's on deck. Chuckster's on deck. Some other people are on deck. The great Clutch from Truth of Life. A lot of times, you'll stay in a toxic relationship, but I don't even like to use that term sometimes because it's so generalized, or a bad relationship, or someone that you complain about because of attraction. You're attracted to them. So be honest with yourself. Every relationship's going to be a trade-off, but this one, you're not going to get your way, dude. She's not going to level up to your 31-year-old maturity level. And the idea that you even thought about telling her mom on her, however bad it is, when you're not even officially together, that really, really says that you don't respect her to live her life or make her own decisions. And that's not a relationship to have long term. So how do I value your chances or our chances? I'd say there's always a possibility, but really ask yourself, what are you chasing? You said a lot of bad things about this woman. You said a lot. I would say there's more bad here than good, but you haven't really told me, why do you really want to be with her? To change her? To help her from doing drugs and making bad decisions? That's not a reason to be in a relationship, because guess what? If she's 21, she's not changing anytime soon, dude. I hope that helps you. If any of you guys want to send your story and send it into writemac.com, I'll get into the live stream now. And if some people haven't been on my live streams recently, I do read the stories completely, and then I will come to the live stream at the end. Okay, so I'll come in and review this right now, see what's on deck. Why do you think women's behave like that? I don't know which story that was in lieu of, but I will say most behavior comes from the way you were raised and your past experiences. It's that simple. So see, that's actually a good question for human beings. Why do people behave the way they behave? Someone taught them that, or they were programmed that way. Think about it this way. How do you behave the way you behave? Joe Helka, if I said that correct, if you're still on deck, a lot of the way you behave is because you were probably taught that when you were a kid, or you had an experience that gave a result that you're still living by. So that, just like earlier we were talking about, someone was in a 6-year relationship and now they don't want to be in a relationship. Well, that 6-year relationship probably hurt them really bad. So now they associate relationships with the breakup and the hurt. When you have good value and high self-worth, you should always say no to the open relationship option. Well, I mean, in some cases, Rob, there's some people, I've been in situations where pretty much it's an open relationship, not many times, but it was okay with me. I welcomed it. I had no resistance to it. And to be honest, if that's the case, but if you're doing it deep down inside for the other person, look out. That's a big thing to appease someone you've been dating that you have real feelings for. You're lying to yourself. Be true to yourself. Once again, weeks, maybe months later, you can be surprised that she has agreed to be closed relationship. It's just like when people say, we're going to take a break. In my experience, breaks end up being breakups within months. The odds are against you getting back together usually. The open relationship in a nice way of saying that she's open to other dudes. Exactly. Clutch says, Sup, Mac, you're my background listener while I work today. Right on, my friend. Clutch, you guys need to do a live stream together sometime soon. Absolutely. We're talking about it. Yes, on point, Mac. If you have your life together, why are you trying to introduce chaos? He keeps doing things, trying to get a reaction out of her. Maybe he likes drama. Like I said, the elephant in the room most of the time when someone's with someone that they complain about a lot or their behavior a lot is, for men, they're highly attracted to that individual. The intimacy was extremely good, and so they overlook the fact that they don't trust them or like their behavior. And they're not willing to bet on themselves as a single person again. Maybe he likes the drama. I'm so glad I got to catch up live today. Very serendipitous. I needed to hear some sage wisdom advice today. I missed you, buddy. I miss you too, Chuckster. Email me anytime, my friend. All right, folks, it is curtains. I'll be on deck. If not tomorrow, definitely starting Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's going to be weekly. It's going to be daily. It's curtain, folks. Curtains. Take care.